Thank you, Mr. Chairman. General Hoganson, as you indicated, the year 2020 was unprecedented in terms of National Guard activations and deployments. The Maine Guard, for example, has deployed service members to our southern border to assist the overworked and overwhelmed Border Patrol, to Africa to help with security missions, to Washington, D.C. to provide support for our Capitol Police, all the while assisting the state of Maine with clinics and logistics in responding to the pandemic. During all of this activity, the Air Guard Wing in Bangor, Maine, continues its extraordinary work refueling our tankers. General, the average age of the Maine National Guard's 10 KC-135s stationed in Bangor is over 60 years old. The maniacs, as they're often called, are pressed into service to operate all over the world, and Bangor is a critical location for flights crossing the Atlantic. Can you provide us with some insight on the roadmap that the Guard and the Air Force are using to recapitalize this aging tanker fleet and ensure that units like Bangor, which are in strategic geographic locations, are able to continue their vital mission long into the future?
Yes, Senator. So when we look at the recapitalization with the KC-46 fleet, the next announcements for 6 and 7, or 7 and 8, I apologize, are coming out, I believe, in 23. And so they'll look very closely at each of the mission sets, the locations, and the unit's capability to convert. But between now and then, and actually long after that, for the rest of our KC-135 fleet, it's absolutely critical to our nation's defense, not only in terms of day-to-day requirements, but also alert requirements as well. And so we're working with the Air Force to make sure we've got a 25-year plan. I think some of these aircraft may be approaching 100 years old, but the recapitalization and the investment in those airframes is critical so that we can maintain that required capability and capacity for our nation.
Well, I would welcome your coming to see the Air Refueling Wing and would be delighted to host you for a visit. I think you'd be very impressed.
Yes, ma'am. I'd love to get there.
I recently traveled to the southwest border and witnessed the ongoing crisis there. I very much appreciate the work of the Maine Guardsmen and women who have been supporting the Border Patrol in Arizona. I happen to go to Texas. I understand that the Department of Defense has received a request from the Department of Homeland Security to continue supporting these border deployments beyond the end of the fiscal year. What is the status of the planning to extend the Guard's presence into the new fiscal year?
So, Senator, we received that request recently. I know it's going through the Office of Secretary of Defense right now to determine how that's going to be resourced going forward. With the rescinding of the Declaration of National Emergency, a Title X option we're looking at for the Guardsmen to potentially fill that, but it may be active component. But they're looking at all options right now, ma'am. But we know the current units that are scheduled there are to come home on the 30th of September. So we're making sure that we do this as quickly as possible to notify those forces so that there's no break in coverage.
Given the 20-year high in the number of migrants crossing the border, it is evident that the Border Patrol agents simply, though they work so hard, are overwhelmed and really need assistance. So I hope that will be approved or that active duty forces will assist them. Thank you.
Yes, sir.